What's up, United Colonies? I am one of your hosts, Phoenix.
And I am your other host, Titan.
And welcome to NTAT. Today is part 2 of our like-dislike of Starfield. We're going to cover things that we love about the game. Again, we want to thank everyone for their continued support and ask that if you took the time to click on this video, take a quick second and hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Titan, why don't you start us off this time?
So I actually want to start off with talking about companions. Bethesda has always done a great job when it comes to companions in previous games, but I never felt the need to have someone else with me or never felt like using companions unless it was part of a quest. Starfield is different. Constellation members have vastly different personalities, backgrounds, attitudes, and overall a joy to have around me. After you finish the main quest or finish a faction storyline, all of the Constellation members will have something to say about your choices that you've made, and I really love to see how each character reacts, and it makes everything more personal. While all of the companions now are good and don't really tolerate things like murder and will have something negative to say while you're doing something wrong, I can't wait for future companions they might add that bend the rules a little and will encourage or maybe even help when it comes to committing crimes. One of the biggest reasons I love to keep a companion with me is that they oftentimes respond to someone you're talking to, and this is interesting to see how helpful it is in some scenarios. This is a tip for anyone who doesn't know, but if you keep Andreja as a companion or as a crew on your ship, she will often give you credits, and sometimes it's a lot of them. So stop by and talk to her every once in a while.
Also, to kind of add to that, all companions will give you an item. Each companion gives you a different type of item, but the most useful obviously is her, because who doesn't need more credits? Gunplay. This was a major surprise to me. When you normally load up an RPG shooter, you expect to have lackluster shooting mechanics. If you remember Fallout 3, it had some of the worst feeling gunplay. They made some great strides with Fallout 4, but you were still kind of bottom of the barrel. This is actually good. Guns feel good. They have some weight to them. Their impact when hitting a target, the hitboxes are good. Each gun has a different feel. As before, a lot of the guns felt the same. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still a full-fledged RPG, so don't expect Call of Duty or Destiny gunplay, but the days of having to use VATS-type system to take out your enemies is over. I have really enjoyed engaging in combat because of this.
Alright, for me, my next one's going to be storylines. Rarely do I find myself immersed in a story of the game. I am usually the type of person that skips cutscenes and not really paying attention to dialogue because it rarely feels natural or interesting to me. But since the moment I turned on Starfield for the first time, I have been hooked. The stories themselves are well crafted and exciting. The anticipation I get from the story or how things evolve during the factions, it all keeps me hooked and wanting more. What makes it truly special, though, is the characters. You meet so many really in-depth characters, some you love and some you absolutely hate. Sometimes you like someone, but you're faced with some moral decisions to make.
I'm told that running the red line is... I hope you know what you're doing, because I'm not happy with participating in this barbarism. Not at all.
I love that there's always information that you can find about people and places. You can meet someone in the game and have an entire conversation, and then later in the game realize that they are a huge part of the storyline. Even the side quests in this game are way better than I could have dreamed of. At first, I avoided a few quests or activities that would pop up, but later game I would do it, and it would be a fully in-depth story that had meaning and purpose, unlike a lot of these fetch quests. Skyrim was a major victim to those.
I'm going to add on to that one for questing. It is some of the best of any Bethesda game, period, full stop. I think this was a big surprise to a lot of people who jumped to the game, that many of the quests are head and shoulders the best part of Starfield versus the exploration, which has never been the case, especially faction quests. They are all very different and substantial in length and quality. The discovery of different quests is a Bethesda staple and is here in full force. Whether that's a heartwarming note found on the Eye, meeting Space Grandmother, or running into Dr. Bangalawala, who has the funniest short quest. You will always find something your friends have not. The quests are all varied as well. There has been horror, espionage, assassinations, and ship ambushes, just to name a few. If you put any time into the game, you know about the fantastic Mantis quest.
Alright, so sticking with stories, I want to talk about consequences. Consequences work in a really unique way, and at first I didn't quite understand it. You're faced with quite a few dialogue options to choose from, ranging from being a cruel human to someone who makes jokes about everything. But regardless of your options, there's not really much of a consequence. Maybe your companion will like or dislike what you say, but then it's right back to scripted dialogue. But your actions fully matter. Whether you choose to kill or spare someone, whether you choose to side with one person or another, these actions will fully affect your gameplay. And it's not until you play Quest a second time and choosing a different path that you see just how vastly different things can be. Once you notice how quickly things can shift for you, you'll start approaching things with more caution and care. If you're going through a playthrough with companions that you really want to like what you're doing, it can be really difficult at times. You have to really get to know your companions, because even if you feel like you're making the right call, your companions might see things a little different than you, and the world fully revolves and shapes around your actions. Sometimes good, and others, well, not so much.
Shipbuilding. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. You must experience this one for yourself. This could have been a game all by itself, and anyone who has spent any time playing with these systems know how in-depth it is and how much fun it is to either modify your favorite ships or even better, create one from scratch. You can ask Titan. I am not the builder in our group, he is. But I have loved building and working on my ships. The community has already recreated some of the most iconic Star Wars ships in the game. Need I say more?
Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about is fast traveling. I am the type of person who loves options in a game. The more things I can do, the better. Fast travel is one of the best features they included in the game. It allows me to really play in my style of gaming. Sometimes I enjoy taking my time and going through the actions of going to my ship, taking off, flying around space for a little bit before grab jumping to my destination. But honestly, sometimes I just want to get things done. Fast travel allows me to efficiently restock on ammo by quickly fast traveling between my favorite merchants, as well as upgrading my ship. Depending on what I need, I can quickly go between manufacturers. While you can't fast travel to the surface of planets that you haven't been to, or to another star system that has an unexplored route to get to, this helps to somewhat balance, and I use that word lightly, the ratio to surface to space gameplay. While I do spend 75% of my time on the surface, like Phoenix mentioned earlier, I am always upgrading my ship and customizing my ship. I always need more storage and more speed, because even the little bit of time that I am in space, there's always a chance to be ambushed and be completely and absolutely demolished. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be fast traveling anyway.
Skill tree. Now I know this one is very subjective, as Titan is not too fond of the skill tree, but I love it and how it works. I will never tell anyone how to play Starfield, but for me, role-playing, giving your character a personality, a skill set with strengths and weaknesses is the most fun I can have. Starfield is a long game, and the way the skill tree is laid out, Bethesda expects that you will engage with it for a long time period. I love this, as I have played other RPGs that halfway through the game you've collected everything, or they slow progression down so much it feels like a slog to level up. I feel like mapping out your build helps a ton in the role-playing aspect, and I believe this was the intent of Bethesda, as we have all complained you can't respect your points. I think if you're role-playing like myself, figuring out what skills you need for your build is the best way to enjoy your character as they gain power. I think if you're going into it wanting to become the best at everything, it's going to feel like a chore. With that said, if that's the way that you want to play, there are dozens of XP farms in the game that can get you from level 1 to 30 in a few hours. And if that's the way you enjoy the game, please do that. That's the beauty of a Bethesda game. You have the options to play how you like. You just need to find the path that works for you.
So I actually have a bonus here. On the topic of being in space, I recently found out that you can leave your seat and walk around your ship while you're in space. This absolutely blew me away. And it's really enjoyable to be in orbit above a planet that your next mission is on, restock and change your gear if you need to before landing. And I know you can do that while landing, but everything's always better in space. Alright, you pirates, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And don't forget to join us every Friday morning. We'll be there.
You be there.